Can you guys hear me now? Somebody let me know if y'all can hear me because when I say I was deep off into the lesson, I'm so glad that chat came through. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. I'm gonna start when I get a confirmation because I was 5 slides in. We would have been into the lesson. I was gonna say looking crazy, but it would just been me looking crazy. Okay, thank you, Morgan. Well, that explains why nobody answered when I said, "How y'all doing?" I'm so glad. Okay. I was literally 5 slides in. I'm screaming. Welcome to the Social CEO webinar again. Welcome to the Social CEO webinar. This is for my business owners, my entrepreneurs who are ready to increase their sales from social media, who want to make extra money online, who want to, who I appreciate y'all so much because y'all could have been like, this girl done scammed us, but y'all in the chat like, sis, where are you? Because we can't hear you. This is for my business owners, my entrepreneurs, even my people who are side hustlers. Everything doesn't have to be this big grand business. Even if you are here because you have a side hustle that you want to execute, you are in the right spot. So if you are new here, if this is your first webinar with me, I am Ebony Thomas. I do want to give you a brief introduction, and then we're going to get straight into what you came to learn about, right? So I have been a content strategist and social media marketing expert for almost 4 years now, honestly. I'm also a two-time HBCU graduate, so my first business degree came from Alcorn State University. Shout out to the sweat. Give me just a second. I see somebody messaging me. Let me make sure. Let me make sure my girl has the link. No sis left behind. Give me just a second. Um, Copy this, send it to me. Send it to my phone so I can send it to her. What's up there? Okay, let me send this to my sis really quick. No sis left behind. Here's the link. We're just getting started. Okay. Again, two-time HBCU graduate. My first degree came from Alcorn State University, and then I got my MBA, which is a Master's of Business Administration from Clark Atlanta University with a concentration in marketing and sports and entertainment management. Outside of this, I do also have corporate experience working for one of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in the world in marketing and customer experience. And customer experience is just creating an experience for your customers that makes them want to keep shopping with you. So they want to make sure they're coming back over and over again. And again, also a lifestyle content creator and the founder of Ebony K Agency. Thank you all so much for being here. And let's get straight into it. On the agenda today, we are going to be covering how to reach thousands of people through social media, how to understand your audience, what makes people buy, and then how to sell online. So, a very short agenda, but I promise it's a ton of information. So, I hope you have your notebooks. I hope you have your pens, your paper. I hope you have everything you need. Because I'm full of energy, if y'all can't tell, and I'm ready to do some teaching today. I'm ready to answer questions, and I'm ready to make sure everybody here leaves feeling like they're ready to start making money next year. I mean, next month. Sorry, not next year. Sorry. By next month, I want everybody feeling like they can make some money. So, I always like to start with being here is just the first step. Being in the room, I'm so proud of everybody for taking the time to invest their self, investing their time, investing their money in learning. But execution is what gets results. On social media, a lot of times we get caught up in, I'm going to get this information, I'm going to get that information, and it's the execution that gets us to our goals, right? So, a couple of statistics you guys will learn. I know I told y'all I had the degrees. It's going to come out in this presentation. I like data, statistics, and receipts. Okay. 130 million users engage with shopping posts every month. 130 million people are engaging with shopping posts every month. 63% of those customers expect businesses to offer support through social media. So this is not just they have a brand page. They want support. They want, just like my sister, I told you my sister just DM'd me, they want support through social media. Everybody doesn't have time, especially these sorry if y'all are in GNC, these younger ones, they not sending a bunch of emails. They're going straight to your DM. They're gonna tag you on the main feed, right? And then 74% of customers rely on social media to guide their purchasing decisions. 74% of people are on social media letting that decide whether or not they want to buy. So if there was ever a time to be on social media, this is the time. Now let's get into how we can use social media to our advantage to get these 74% of people buying from us. Okay. A couple of things I want to get into. I broke down different types of content on social media, reels, carousels, and stories. I didn't include static posts. By the way, this is where I was when I realized y'all couldn't hear me. I was all the way here. I didn't include static posts. Static posts are just plain traditional Instagram pictures, one picture at a time, one caption, cool. So because that's so basic, so simple, I didn't explain that one too much. But I did want to give you guys some details, some need to know that people don't really talk about some of these types of content online, right? So the first thing is Reels. Reels is designed to get you in front of new people. Reels is designed to get you in front of new people. And I know people say this all the time, but let me tell you why I'm emphasizing it. Because if you are getting in front of new people, they don't know you yet. They don't know your value. They don't know your product. They don't trust you. They don't know who you are. These are brand new people, and the way you speak to brand new people is not going to be the same way that you speak to people in your core audience, right? You need to grab their attention. You need to skip even though these are new people, skip the introductions. Reels is very quick. People are scrolling like a TikTok, right? There's no need to start your reel off with, "Hi, I'm Ebony Thomas. I'm a social media strategist, and this is 3 ways that you can grow your." By the time I got to the 3 ways, they have scrolled away. They skip the introductions and go straight into the hooks, right? People talk about hooks on social media a lot, and it's always these key phrases, these key words, right? But what it really is a way to tease your audience and let them know what to expect from this video. You want your only goal is to stop them from scrolling. How can I get them to stop from scrolling? This can be a controversial statement. This can be something emotional. We're going to talk about emotional marketing in a couple slides. This could be something emotional. This could be also your hook doesn't have to be the text either. Your hook can also be your video. Something unique, something different, something to spark some curiosity and make people stop scrolling. And then in that content of your reels, you need to educate them in a way to where now they come into your audience, right? I cannot create a reel and say, "Hey, I'm hosting a webinar tonight." They scrolling past, they're like, "I don't know who you are, or what this webinar is about. I don't care," right? But if I create a reel and say, "If you want to grow your social media, do this first," they look like, "Cool. I don't know you, but I want to grow my social media, so let me see what I can do with this information." Right? So again, reels are to get you in front of different people, and content on reels lives for months. Reels is the longest content that lives online. A reel that you posted today can go viral next month. You can still be getting likes and engagement and sales off a reel you posted next month. I'm getting sales calls off a reel I posted months ago still. That offer is not even available anymore. So be mindful of that as well. Real content lasts for months. And if y'all have any questions, put them in the chat and tell me if I'm going too fast. Tell me to relax. I get very excited, but tell me to relax if I need to stop and break down any other information once we get deeper into the slides. Next is our carousels. So carousels are when somebody posts a piece of content and it's multiple slides. So I think you can add. It was up to 10. I think I might have extended it to up to 15, depending on if you've updated your Instagram or not. These are for engagement and saves. This is for your storytelling. This could also be for sales, right? But this is your storytelling content. You want to get people to keep swiping to the next slide, right? It's not a situation where you want to build it up. Like I'm a put my best slide at the end. Start with your best friend. Start with your absolute best and get people to keep scrolling. That first slide needs to be a hook. It needs to be a catch, something catchy, something that again sparks that curiosity, right? People should feel curious enough to want to keep reading. People should feel curious enough to care about what it is you have to say. People should feel like they're again, we're gonna get into emotional marketing, but they should feel like their desires is coming through and is gonna get how can I say that? Their desires are going to get addressed in this carousel, right? Carousels last a couple days. They live for a couple days on the feed. If it goes viral, a couple weeks, maybe. If it's shareable content, it can last a little longer. And shareable content is what I like to call mood board content. It's like relatable and trendy. But on average, carousels last on the feed for a couple of days. So if you are promoting an offer, keep in mind that this content will live for a couple of days. If it doesn't do the best today, you may have a couple of days to make turn it around, right? And then the next are our stories, which is for engagement and connection. So this lives 24 hours. There's a really big thing right now where people are complaining about their story views being low. Um, if your story views are low, this is what happens with stories. If you post a story and then you post a couple of more, if people start swiping off from that first story and they don't care to keep going, they don't care to engage, they're just swiping away. The same way it kind of happens in the Instagram feed, that happens on stories. So now your stories aren't getting seen. They're not pushing your stories anymore, right? A really good way to reset your stories, reset your algorithm, is to pause for 24 hours, and then that next story you post is gonna perform. That first story you post after 24 hours, after you've let them all disappear, is gonna perform. And with that being said, be very intentional about what that first post is. Don't come back playing. Come back with some value. Come back with something that's important for you to, for your audience to understand and know about, again, you, your brand, your industry, whatever it is, right? And again, I told y'all, I teach like I went to school, right? These this information is coming from Buffer. So the months, the days, the 24 hours is coming from Buffer.com. We have to give people credit. There's a lot of stealing going on the internet. So I want to make sure we give people credit where it's due. So if we know what kind of content reaches, I also want to preface this by saying it also depends on what you're best at as well, right? If we know what kind of content serves what purpose, if we know how long this content lives online, how do we start to reach thousands of people? How do we get our brand, our product in front of thousands of people? We test multiple content styles, right? We do the carousels, the reels, the stories, the static posts, right? We do the text based posts versus the flyers. We test all these different styles to see what works for your audience. You pay attention to your comments. As soon as I get a comment and somebody says this is for me, I'm like, I'll be doing this again. If I get a comment and says, I've gotten comments that say, can you do this every month? I will, because now I know what my audience is responding to, right? And then you also check your analytics. So we'll get into analytics on the next slide, but you also want to check your analytics, and it's not your likes, it's not your comments. I mean, kind of is, but primarily, if we're talking about overall reach, it's a little bit deeper than just likes, saves, and shares. Um, Again, what works for you may not work for everybody else, and what works for everybody else may not work for you, right? One really good thing with Reach, my little secret hack that I use a lot. Don't tell nobody I told y'all, right? But shareable content, again, this is your mood board style content. Almost memes or like quotes or like something that's relatable. If you can combine your shareable content with your sales content, you can get a really good result from that. So, for example, a piece of shareable content would be, give an example off the top of my head. A piece of shareable content for my brand would be how I feel when Instagram is hiding my likes again. Everybody's like, that's me, I can relate, I feel you, I'm sick of it, right? But in my caption or in if it's a carousel in this post, I'm also saying if you're tired of this, this is how I overcame it. This is the product that I have that can help you. If this is you, this is how that relates to you, right? So shareable content, because it's relatable, people share it, people, it gets a higher reach, and then you can kind of bundle in that sale. With that being said, I would not make that your entire content strategy, because what you don't want to do is target a lot of people who are there for the quotes, the memes, and the jokes, and they never had any intention on buying for you. Let me know if that's good in the chat. In the comments, somebody let me know if that's good information. If you are posting all shareable content, you will start to attract people who had no intention in buying from you. We want to attract true customers, right? So you also want to have traditional sales content. This is what I offer. This is why you need it. This is where you can find it. Very key, simple things. This is what I offer. This is why you need it. This is where you can buy it. I see my sister said it's good. Okay, I'm just making sure. Y'all a little sleepy in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all have. I'm gonna assume everybody's taking notes, and I'm gonna let y'all have it. But I want to make sure it's good information. So how do we know what our audience likes? This is where we get into our analytics. Now, the first two screenshots are outdated, and I'll tell you exactly why. The first two screenshots are outdated. I'll tell you exactly why. So the first one, I don't know if you guys can see. Sister busy typing my notes. I appreciate that. I'll let you have that. The first thing you see is your audience insights. So again, because this is outdated, content you shared now says, I think it says top performing content or something similar here, but it looks the same, so you'll be able to find it. Once you go to your insights on Instagram, you can go to where it says I think you may now have to go to accounts reach first and then go to content you share, and it will bring you to this page that you see in the middle. Why is this page important? First of all of these tabs at the top, which are now at the bottom on the new screenshot, I promise it's outdated for a reason. Now they're at the bottom on the new screenshot, but you can change it by time, you can change it by goal, and you can change it by content style, right? For the sake of knowing what your audience likes, it needs to be in it. Now, if we're talking about sales content, instead of reach, it would say links clicked, or it would say saves, or it would say um, website taps is what it said. Last 6 months, right? The reason this post is outdated because when I started this brand page a while ago, I used to do a lot of content that you see at the bottom. In this bottom left corner, you see I'm making it pink. I'm going on Canva. I'm doing the designs. I'm picking the font. I'm like, okay, cool, because I'm going to be so perfect, so professional, right? And at the time, I was doing okay. You know, I was reaching 131,000 people online. I was going to say customers, but they're not always necessarily customers. I was reaching 131,000 people online on average. I had about 17K. Um, it was cool. The more I started posting what you see circled at the top, not that one on, not the first two, I should say. The more I started posting the first two, every time I posted it, it was outperforming all of my content, right? So if you look at this screenshot overall, if you were to scroll down this page, you would see a lot of those pink posts started going to the bottom. And this stuff, even though it was posted most recently, it was at the top. What this told me is that my audience likes this style of content. My audience digests this style of content. And once I knew that, I said, I'm gonna tear them up with it. If you go to my Instagram right now, you see I post a lot of Twitter feed style content. It's always my highest performing content. It doesn't matter how many flyers I post, it doesn't matter how many reels I post, because I was able to use this data. Now, again, not just my likes, not just my saves, but what does all this stuff have in common? And what it has in common is that this content style, my audience likes it, right? And that's what took me from reaching 131 to 416, right? That's what took me from an engagement of 13 to 51. That's a 400% increase because I used that data, that slide, that one simple thing, right? Not just this performed well, let me post something that says the same thing. What does all this content have in common? And what it has in common is the formatting. So when you're looking at what it is your audience likes, because again, what your audience responds to may not be what everybody else's audience responds to. When you're in your analytics, figure out what your top performing posts have in common, right? Now the caveat to this is, friend, you have to be posted consistently for this to work. I need you posting consistently. We can't skip the consistency part. And I have something for that coming for y'all too. But again, make sure you understand what it is your audience actually likes and responds to. Then you duplicate it. When you know what works, it works. So this is from previous clients. This is from previous customers. That's a 2,000% increase in account reach just by going into her analytics and saying, okay, this is done good. Let me do more of it. Right. Once you figure out what works, run it into the ground. For lack of better words, run it into the ground. And then if it stops working, we pivot. Right. Or if you post something and it doesn't work, we pivot until we figure out what works. But once you figure out what works, go all in on it. And that's going to get you the results that you're looking for. Now let's get into the sales. Type money in the chat if you here for the money. If you here for the sales, put money in the chat. Let's get into what it is that actually makes people want to buy. Neuroscience has revealed that the emotional brain drives 75% of decisions and behaviors. 75% of decisions. Oh yeah, y'all ready for the money. 75%. Y'all say Instagram who? Where's the fun? Run the coin. Let's get into it. 75% of decisions and behaviors are emotional decisions, right? Rational decisions are 25% of the rationale only influences 25% of decisions made. Why is this important? A lot of people try to use ration and logic to convince their customers to buy, and we're skipping over the emotion, right? We're using we're using rational knowledge. We know why our product is good. We know what makes sense, and we're expecting to take that to our customers. Our customers are making emotional decisions. We're making emotional decisions, right? If you are talking about increasing your sales, you need to tap into emotional marketing, and that's what we're going to get into on the next couple of slides. You need to be able to create an experience for your audience. You need to be able to create an environment for your audience, right? Saying, I'm selling this t-shirt, it's purple, it's soft, it's a bodysuit. They're like, cool, cool. That's all the logic. That is the logic of why somebody should buy. Versus if I say this is the softest bodysuit on the market, you can wear it out, you can wear it on your errands, you can wear it to class, right? It's what's the word? Translucent is not it. You can wear it anywhere basically, right? Now it's like cool, that's what I need. We still know it's purple, we still know it's a bodysuit, right? That's our logic. When we're talking about emotion, how do we create an experience for our entire audience? How do we make our product the go to? How do we make our product necessary? It's not a want, it's a need. I need this product or service. That's when you tap into that emotional marketing, right? What is emotional marketing? Again, I love a definition. Okay. Emotional marketing focuses on product features and benefits. I'm sorry. Traditional marketing focuses on products, features, and benefits. Emotional marketing focuses on the connection. That's the storytelling. That's the creating the narrative. Like I said, that's building the values and emotion of the audience. So if you are a screenshotter, this would be a really good screenshot because a lot of people who struggle with sales online, they're on the left. They're the rational. This is the product. This is the benefits and the features. I know people always say you need to talk about the benefits and the features of your product. You do, but we need to. If we're talking money, we need a little more than that, right? It highlights the value. It focuses on the education and the information. Whereas the emotional marketing piece focuses on the customer's needs. It focuses on their aspirations, their goals. It focuses on your reviews and your testimonials. It focuses on feedback. Why? Because I could tell you every single thing that you need, every single reason that you need my purple shirt. But if your goal is to be comfortable when you go to class, if your goal is to be comfortable when you go to yoga, These are two different types of connections for your audience. A lot of people online are focusing on the rational, and we just learned that the emotional brain targets, what is the word? The emotional brain contributes to 75% of decisions that your customers are making. What are your customers' goals? What is your customer's goal? Somebody put it in the chat. What's your customer's goal? What's the goals for your audience? My audience wants to make money from social media. My audience wants to sell digital products. My audience wants to sell services. My audience wants to grow online, right? So if I need to market to my audience, I know exactly what their needs and aspirations are. And then I have the reviews to back it up, and that's T, right? I have the reviews to back it up. If I'm going to tell somebody my audience wants to get waxed, I like that. And that can go a little deeper because yes, they want to get waxed, but they also probably want to prevent blackheads. Now, if you're creating content talking about the aftercare of the wax process, now it's like that's what I need. Also, a lot of this emotional and understanding your customer's needs and aspirations is also key to establishing yourself as an industry expert, right? Sometimes we have to go above and beyond because, again, if we talk about traditional marketing, where you're building your know, like, and trust factor, right? That's people. You need your audience to know who you are. You need them to actually like you and resonate with you, and then you need them to trust you in order to want to buy from you, right? That's the know, like, and trust factor. If we're talking about the know, like, and trust factor, that trust factor comes from establishing ourselves as an industry expert. People want to know what you're talking about outside. People want to know that you know what you're talking about outside of just selling to them online, right? Since then, my audience wants to save time with marketing. Saving time is a good one. If you want to cut down the time, if you want to stop spending hours scrolling on social media, if you want to spend less time online and more time in the business, if you want to spend less time on research, I'm like, yeah, I do. I do. I do. So say my audience wants to sell services. Ooh, I like that. Also, when I say go deeper in these, also into the why. So a really good way to really get into the deepest part, I guess, of the emotional marketing is understanding the why. So, for example, my audience wants to sell services. Why? I have to use myself as an example. I'm so sorry. My audience wants to grow on social media. Why? Because they want flexibility in their life. I mean, because they want consistent income. Why? Because they want flexibility to leave their 9 to 5. Why? Because they want to create generational wealth. Right. As I'm going down this rabbit hole, these are 3, 4 different marketing points. If you want to create digital wealth, if you want to have financial freedom, if you want to ditch your 9 to 5 and start making money from your iPhone, if you want to create generational wealth for your family, if you want to do all of these things, this is how I can help you do that. Not just if you want to grow on social media, right? Every everybody won't respond to, again, the rationale. If you want to grow on social media, cool, this is what you do. If you want to make 6 figures like my previous client did from social media, this is what you need to do. That's when we get into that emotional marketing. Okay. And this is exactly what I was talking about. What problems are you solving for your audience? What are their pain points? What are their struggles? What are common misconceptions? What are issues? So, for example, for my sister Janae, she said her audience likes to get waxed, right? A common struggle is blackheads. A common struggle is how to take care of your skin, how to prevent dark marks, hyperpigmentation, right? When you start to speak to some of this content, it's like, okay, even if they weren't getting waxed before by you before, they start to trust you. Again, we talk about that no like trust. They start to trust you as an industry expert. Now you're attracting clientele without having to say, come get waxed by me or come take this class with me. You're starting to attract people because they know that you know what you're talking about, right? What makes you different? And a little bit of tea, lower price should not be your only sell standout factor. I don't know why I can't talk today. Low price should not be your only standout factor. If everybody is charging $100 and you charging 15, I promise you, give it a couple months, you're gonna realize why everybody's charging $100. Right? But what makes you different? Is it your customer experience? Is it your personality? Is it your energy? Right? Is it your branding? Are you doing creative campaigns? Is it your product? Is your product that different? What makes you different from your competitors? Because that's what's going to determine who they buy from. I know people like to talk about oversaturated industries and oversaturated markets. It's 150 cereal brands on the shelf right now. 150 different styles of bread. 150 different brands. What makes you different? Is it your marketing? Is it because you're a lot of people are going to win just by consistency alone. A lot of people are going to win just from consistency alone. If you consistently do something over and over and over, you're already outworking your competitors. You're already attracting people. What makes you truly different? And then again, what can you teach your audience? How can you help them improve? What do they need to know about your industry? Again, this is still building that trust factor. Letting people know that you know exactly what you're talking about. You are the expert in your industry. Even if they're not ready to buy yet, you have their support or they have your support, right? And vice versa. Honestly, both it goes both ways. Even if they're not ready to buy yet, you're establishing those relationships. This is where DMs start to work. This is where stories start to work. This is where comments start to work, right? I think a lot of times online, I see people talk about, is this a safe space with my friends? I see people talk about online. This person sent me 100 questions and they never bought anything. And while yes, I get that it's frustrating, they might not have it right now. We don't know what they're gonna have in a couple months, right? Now, this not to say give away your whole secret formula for free in the DMs. I don't do Instagram audits or social media strategies in the DMs, right? But I do answer key questions because, again, you should also be genuine in your business, right? You should also be genuine in your brand, especially if you are a person that is a personal brand. You are the face of your business. Your reputation will make or break you, right? So again, building these connections with your audience, building that trust factor, because people don't spend money with people they don't trust, right? People don't spend money with the girl who ghosted them in their DMs, and then when their friend is looking for somebody, they're like, "Well, not her. She don't respond." And her friend was the one who had the bag, right? So again, these are some things to keep in mind. But the core purpose of this slide is figure out why people should buy from you. What problems are you solving? You should be able to overcome. It actually may be on the next slide. Let me see. No, we finna get into the real selling. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, you should. Before I get there though, you should be able to overcome objections. I thought I had it on this slide. You should be able to overcome objections before they come. Right. If you are in your industry, you know what irritates you as a business owner, and you know what irritates you as a customer. Right. For my industry, for my business, I know that a lot of people say I took this course and didn't work. Right. That's why when I promote anything, ebook, course, webinar, coaching program, whatever it is, I always have the receipts to back it up. Because this not no, let me give you my life story and then wrap it up. I like to get deep into the details, the data, the statistics, and the research to make sure everybody's doing their due diligence. Right. Everybody's getting what they paid for. If your industry, people, I know for the hair industry, it's canceling appointments, right? If you want to stand out, if you want to overcome these objections, these common issues in your industry, a simple post, a simple policy saying, if I cancel, you get, I was gonna say you get a percent of the service back. Don't be paying nobody, but you get my point, right? Setting yourself apart and being able to overcome some of the common issues that people have in your industry. Even as simple as I started recently saying, buy now, pay later is available. People like, that's why I like you. I'm like, I know my audience. I know what people want. I know that I have an audience. I know my audience. I know what they need. And I know how to overcome some of those objectives. If price is an objective, let me overcome that already. Before you even ask me, before you even have to sit at home and say, oh, I wanted to do this, but the price was too high, let me go ahead and solve that issue for you. So that's something else you want to be doing again to stand out from your competitors. How are you solving their issues? And if all else fails, put a poll in your store. What questions do you have? Right? What questions do you have about this product? People will let you know. I did that for the webinar. Somebody said I took a class. when I had my product business. Now I'm a mentor. Will this still help me? Let me tell you yes or no, why it would or wouldn't help you, right? You have to be willing to talk through and secure the sale. Get to the money, okay? Be willing to do the work to get to the bag, because all this is just work. All these conversations is just you doing the work to get to where you need to go, right? Now let's get to the selling. Let's get to the selling. Before I get to the selling, before I get to the selling, let's go back, because we just covered how you can reach people. We just covered the different types of content to be posted online. We just covered creating your brand, creating yourself as an industry expert, how you can stand out online. We just covered how long the content lives. We just covered all this information to set you up as a brand for success. If you're consistently testing content styles, you're consistently paying attention to what it is your audience likes from you, you're duplicating the process, you're overcoming their objectives, you're making sure you stand out from your competition, right? You're setting yourself up as an expert. You're getting your audience to trust you, right? You're being genuine and authentic. You're not doing random cash grabs and scamming people out their money. Don't be doing that, friends, right? You set yourself up online as a business to be successful, right? Now, what do we do with the success? Now we get to the selling. And the first part of selling is understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. What is your goal, right? So this is going to get real techy. This is going to get real techy, real detailed. So stop me at any time if you have questions. But a lot of times, the biggest issue that business owners, especially smaller business owners, have on social media is that we're not in the position to hit the goals that we're setting, right? So I don't know if you guys have heard of SMART goals. It's an acronym, SMART. Specific. I wish I would have put it in here actually. Specific, measurable, SMA, actionable, SMA, embarrassing. Like, do you know how to spell SMART or not? SMAR, reasonable and time sensitive is what it is. Specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and time sensitive. For some reason, reasonable doesn't feel right. But what this framework basically is you're setting goals that you can track your progress. You have a definite yes or no, did I hit the goal or not, and you're putting yourself in position to reach it. A lot of people are setting goals. We say we want to get 100 sales, and we set the goal, and then we haven't put ourselves in position to reach it because we haven't done this work. So let's get into this work. Um, the first thing is the average conversion rate. On the next slide, it's going to say marketing rate, so I don't want that to confuse you. The average conversion rate for an online store is 1 to 2%, right? And this goes for a small business all the way to the big Fortune 500 company that I've worked for. The average conversion rate is 1 to 2% on average. It can obviously be higher. Hopefully, it's not lower, right? A 1% conversion rate. Conversion is people are converting from site viewers to sales. By the way, a 1% conversion rate means that out of 100 people who visit your site, one person will buy. So raise your hand if you wanted to. If you ever wanted, I say raise your hand like we on Zoom. If you've ever been in a position to where you say, I want to sell 100 products this month, right? I want to sell 100 products this month. When we look at our conversion rate, how many people do we need on our website? If you have a 1% conversion rate, that means out of 100 people who visit your website, only one person will buy. So if you want 100 sales a month, based on this conversion rate, you need 10,000 people on your site because only for every 100, you only get one buyer, right? Now, who's ever been in a position where we say, I want to make 50 sales? We had nowhere near the 10,000 on our website. And I put my hand up high because I have been there, right? But again, this is based on your conversion rate. If you have a Shopify website, they'll give you your conversion rate. If you have a Wix website, they'll give you your conversion rate. I think StanStore does it as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe in lying on Beyonce's internet. Okay. But they will give you your conversion rate. So this is not something you have to try to calculate and do the math for. But once you figure out your conversion rate, this is how you do the math, right? So in the right side of the screen, you will see four words: 100 sales, site visitors, 100%, five. Right? That five actually should have been one, but we digress. Okay. If you need, so what this is doing, the X is for cross multiplying, and this is how you figure out what it is, how many people you need based on your goal. So in this example, if your goal is 100 sales, right, you divide that by 100%, right? That's when we get that 10,000. So if I want 100 sales times 100%, that's 10,000. Now I know my conversion rate is only five. I don't know why it's five in this example. I apologize. I hope it's not confusing. But again, if my conversion rate is 5%, so for every 100 people, if I need 10,000 people, or I'm sorry, if I need 100 sales times that 100%, I have 10,000 that I need divided by five because that's my conversion rate. To hit the 100 sales, I need 2,000 people on my website. Let me know if that's confusing. Stop me if that's confusing. Because what you're doing is how many sales you need. It's a plug and play. How many sales you need times 100%, right? Whatever that number gets you, you divide it by your conversion rate, and that's what gives you your site business. That may be an easier way to explain it. So if your goal is 100 sales, so say it one more time. I got you, sis. Because I first of all, I might be the problem. Because how we go from 1% to 5%? Okay, if your goal is you want to get 100 sales, right? Follow this X. You times that by 100%. That's 10. That's where you get that 10,000 from. That 100% never changes, by the way. That's always 100%. How many sales you want to get times 100%. You take that number, where in this case it's the 10,000, and you divide that by your conversion rate, right? So in this example, 100 sales times 100% gave me 10,000. Divided by my conversion rate, to hit 100 sales, I need 2,000 people on my site. I need 2,000 people on my site. Now, if we're talking about marketing, how does this equate to our marketing? How does this equate to how many people we need to reach? The next slide is going to look very similar, but this is our conversion rate. For 2,000 people on my site, that will get me at 100 sales based on how customers are performing on my website right now. Don't let me confuse y'all. Stop me at any time because this is our marketing rate. So again, the average marketing rate of a store is 10%, a little higher. That means out of 100 people who see your content, this is how many people will buy, right? So again, same thing, you cross multiply and divide. We just went on the previous slide, we need 2,000 people on our site to hit 100 sales, right? After this, I promise it's going to get way simpler. We need 2,000 people on our site to hit 100 sales. 2,000 times 100 gives us 20,000, 200,000, excuse me. But if we divide that by a 10% marketing rate, in order to hit our sales goal of 100 sales, we need to reach 20,000 people. Because out of that 20,000 people, 2,000 are going to be on my site. And out of that 2,000, I can convert 1% of them. Let me know if that makes sense. Because again, a lot of the reasons people are struggling with sales and we're not hitting our goal is because we're not reaching enough people. And I know we talked about reach a couple of slides back. We're not reaching enough people to even hit our goals. This is when people start running ads. This is when people start working with influencers. This is when people start partnering with certain like accounts. It's kind of ads, but they're like Instagram accounts. This is when people start going live with other people, increase your reach. This is where you start hosting live series to get people into your audience, right? Because again, these are examples based on your conversion rate. This may look different, right? And also based on how you market, this may look different. But again, I want to give you the tools. Oh, I got 15 more minutes. Okay, we got to get to it. I want to give you the tools to be able to know how many people you need to reach. They just gave me a 15-minute warning. Thankfully, I'm at the end. Okay, stop me anytime. And if we need to do the Q&A on Instagram Live, we can do that after, because they're not gonna know what we're talking about because they should be here. That's their business. Okay. After you know how many people you need to reach, you need to secure the sale. Here's how you secure the sale. For starters, focus on one product at a time. A lot of times we're not selling because we're confusing our audience, right? Even if you have more than one product on your website, focus on marketing, speaking to one product at a time. And it doesn't have to be a full 30 days. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 4 weeks, but focus on one thing at a time. Give your audience time to catch on. Give the algorithm time to catch up. Give people time enough to do research. Give people time enough to get paid again. That's important, right? Dropping products on the first of the month, not always the best idea, right? But you can always upsell to a separate product that makes sense on the back end, right? Okay. The next thing you want to do is collect your leads. You need to know exactly who it is that's interested in your product so you can retarget them if they don't buy. So this is where wait lists come in, right? This is where automations come in. So if you're using ManyChat, for example, where people comment a keyword or they DM you a keyword, you can go in ManyChat and see all the people who responded to that and reach back out to those people and say, hey, I thought you were interested. By the way, you still have time to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. And my favorite way to do this is putting the details behind a firewall. It takes some planning, but it's always the most effective thing. And how this looks is if you have a landing page where if you are releasing a product or promoting a product, people have to put in their name and their email address before they get the details, right? Before they get the details. That way, you already collected their information, and then they go on there, whether they buy it or not. You have a way to retarget them through their email, through their phone number, however it is. And then again, retargeting customers who don't purchase, like I said, through emails, through DMs, through text messages. Use that emotional marketing, and also use FOMO, scarcity. FOMO is fear of missing out, by the way, if nobody knows. Scarcity, right? Limited time offers. Things that make people want to take action immediately. Okay. Somebody let me know if this is good. Next, you also need to go live talking about the product or service. This is not always getting on live to sell. Talk about what it is you offer. Talk about some results you've gotten. Talk about industry news. Talk about trends. Talk about things that are relevant to your industry. Again, position yourself as an industry expert. But if you can bring, okay, I'm glad sister says this is great. That's what I like to hear. If you can bring some people onto live with you, now you've reached their audience and they've reached your audience, and that's called cross promoting, cross collaboration, right? Because now both of you guys are in a position to grow. Bonus points if you make it a live series and you do a one. Now I'm giving homework. If you do a 1 month live series and you go live once a week for 4 weeks, and every week you bring somebody else, that's four different audiences that you're getting in front of to promote this product. Because if we're talking about reaching 20,000 people, we're gonna need to get some reach. Okay. And next, again, onto this emotional marketing. Post past reviews, results, and receipts. Post the benefits. Post the end result. What will people accomplish by buying your product? How will people feel after they buy your service? Right. And again, scarcity, FOMO, and exclusivity. The next is give your audience space to talk about the product or the service. I mean, to ask questions about the product or service. Right? Again, make it a poll, make it a question. Make people should be comfortable asking you questions. Hopefully, everybody that's here is comfortable sliding in my DMs at any given moment, saying, "Hey, sis, you said this at the webinar last night. I was looking for a little bit more information." And y'all are comfortable enough to where y'all know that I'm gonna respond when I can find it. My DMs get a little flooded sometimes with them automations. So something else to keep in mind. But your audience should be comfortable enough to ask you questions. And then I already talked about overcoming key objections, excuse me. Other quick key tips, be known for something. What is it that you do consistently for your audience? We already talked about testing multiple styles of content. We talked about consistency. A lot of people will win just by being consistent and beating out the competition. A really big one is you cannot expect to mirror a large brand's content and expect to grow. And here's why: a lot of those people have more established core audience, and they have back end systems that you won't see from social media, right? So you can create the exact same post with the exact same wording and caption, but if people don't already know, like, and trust you, right? If you don't have the automations and funnels set up in the back end, if you don't have the retargeting and some of the stuff they have, it usually won't work. And then also you need to engage back with your audience in the comments, in the DMs, however that looks. Okay. Now, a couple of very common objections that I always hear, right? I don't know what to post. I can't keep up with the trends. I'm overwhelmed with all these changes. If you have ever been overwhelmed on social media, just put me in the chat. I'm overwhelmed with the changes, the algorithms, the hooks, the trends. Everybody's telling me to do this, and then yesterday they said go live. I'm just overwhelmed, right? These are the most common objectives I hear in my industry. And then we're going to get into Q&A. What if I told you? So they said, yeah, they came quick. Yeah. Instead of worrying about the content and the algorithm, you could take the information I just gave you and just focus on that. Because that was a lot of information. That was a lot of information, especially when we start getting to that reach. That's a lot of information, friend. I'm not gonna lie. And on top of that, having to figure out what to post, keep up with the trends, ship the products, do the services. I get it. What if I told you instead of worrying about the content and algorithm, you could literally just worry about the sales? You can literally just worry about the sales. I am offering, you guys are the first to know it's going to be on Instagram tomorrow. So I wish I could say it's exclusive. I'm sorry. I did my best. But you guys are the first to know. Starting next month, I will be offering Done For You weekly content, right? So every single week, I will be sending out, every single week, I will be sending out different content ideas, trending sounds, trend, trends in general, right? Social media updates, things that you need to know that's not overwhelming, that's not confusing, the stuff that's actually relevant to your audience and to what it is you're trying to do every single week. I will be sending this out via email for 33 cents a day, less than the price of dinner, less than the price of gas, less than the price of, I was going to say hookah, but we got to clean it up some, right? But every single week you can get this to your inbox. It is now available on my stand store. The offer should be also up somewhere in the webinar. Done For You content is now available. Again, this will be announced on Instagram tomorrow. I'm only allowing a certain amount of people because everybody can't be posting the same thing every week. Because then what's the point, right? But if this is something that you're interested in, this is available for you to grab now or after the webinar. Now, I know that was a lot of information. Everybody take a breather. Everybody will sigh. Hopefully, nobody is confused. But if you are, let's get into some Q&A. So I know I see the chat. There's also a private chat. So I saw some people commenting privately to me. And I don't know that there's a way for you guys to speak. Oh, I do see a speak. So if you have questions, if you have comments, if you need me to go back to anything, if you are confused about anything, this is the time because I promise you, if you are confused, it's probably some other people. So if you have comments, if you have questions, if you have concerns, we have about 7 more minutes left on this timer. I'm so surprised we kept it at an hour. Hold on, I see somebody requesting to speak. Oh no. Okay, I see Shawnee, I hope I am pronouncing it right. Requested to speak, but it will not let me accept it, sis. I'm so sorry. If you can put it in the chat or in the Q&A box, um, or even if you want to send it to me privately, that would be helpful. But for some reason, it won't let me accept it because it's saying there can only be one presenter at a time. That sucks. That's boring. But please, please, please drop it in the chat because I want to make sure I get all the questions answered and nobody leaves confused. If this was good information, if this was helpful, if this was beneficial at all, let me know in the chat. If this was a waste of your time, say that as well. I take feedback and criticism very well, and I want to make sure people are getting the best from me. People are getting their money's worth. But again, if this was good information, I try to Make sure it was detailed and specific, and you got some actionable, tangible items to go through. I want to go back to this slide. If there's nothing else to say, very, very beneficial. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. If there's nothing else, I want to stay on this side, right? Because this is our action. If you're gonna make a game plan for July to get sales, and again, you guys will get the replay for this. Sis said this is really good. I'm glad you guys are gonna get the replay for this. But if you are making an action plan for July on how to get sales, start here. I mean, well, start with the numbers that we got into, but then start here. Again, focusing on the product, collecting the leads, retargeting, sending out the emails, going live, all the stuff that you need to know um, in order to, again, increase the sales. Once you know how many people you actually need to reach, you can work it backwards, right? Let me know if you guys have any questions. We do have about 5 more minutes. If not, we can. Ooh, I've been in corporate too long. I was going to say we can give time back. If anybody's ever been in corporate, they love to give time back. Let me go back to the chat. And again, okay, Shawnee, thank you. Because I'm like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't like to disrespect for Shawnee. Sister, I'm the CEO of the Marketers Agency, where we help product-based e-commerce businesses streamline their marketing efforts. My question is, how do you content plan? Ooh, great question. How do you content plan for your personal page and your business page? It depends on what you put on your personal page. For me, I create content on my personal page completely different than I do for my business page. So for my business page, when I'm planning my content, I am focused on my goal. What is my core offer from the month? So I always start with right now, it was the webinar. I know that this is my core offer for the month. Now I'm going to what are my top performing pieces of content right now? Over the past 3 months, what is working for me? Also, something that a lot of people skip that's very important that you won't see on social media is every time I release a product or a service or anything, I go all the way through the process. So this is my product. What does it do? Who is it for? Who is it not for? Excuse me. How is it beneficial? If people bought it, what will be their end result? Right? What is their end goal? What is the results that they'll get? What will they learn from this? And then I put all of that into my content, right? Because I don't want to just say I'm releasing a webinar. I want to say at the end of this webinar, you will learn how to sell on social media, right? And you will learn how to sell on social media because we're going to walk through X, Y, and Z. And then I use the formatting and content style, and then some of the trends from my highest performing posts. For my business page, I plan it around my niche. So right now, I'm really leaning into exploring Houston style content. If you guys don't follow my personal page, I'm a lifestyle content creator. Nothing there is professional, by the way. Heads up if you finna go look. But I plan it around what's happening in the city and what is my niche. So my niche is exploring Houston. I know this week there's a new space opening up. I need to be there. I need to be the first to do it. So that's in my content plan, right? I know that there's a restaurant that wanted me to create content about them. That's in my content plan. So I base it around what's happening actually in the city, and then also brand deals and different products and affiliate links and things that I want to promote as well. That was a good question. That was a really good question. Okay, we have about a minute left. Um, if there are more questions, if you guys want to chat a little bit more, because I didn't realize this was limited to an hour, just DM me the word live on Instagram. Sis said, oh, I gotta wrap it up. Sis said you mentioned if I need to go live on Instagram, DM me the word live and I'll meet y'all there in case it cuts out. But Sis said you mentioned not knowing all the tools they use to make it work. So my second question is ManyChat the only tool you use to help with marketing on social media? I use really quickly ManyChat. I use Canva. I use Klaviyo for my email marketing, and I'm about to use them for my text marketing. I use StanStore. Um, ManyChat does a lot of my funnels. So comment here, it'll send you there, that kind of stuff. I'm doing this webinar on Webinar Jam because it allows you to add your offers, and I like the way it's set up. It's a little pricey, just a heads up, right? But a lot of the funnels and things that you're using are going to be in the systems. So Klaviyo, again, you can set up funnels, retargeting funnels, welcome emails, all these different things. ManyChat, you can do the same thing. Dang, there was one more that I was just about to say. Oh, StanStore, you can do the same thing. Any website payment process. Oh, ads. A lot of it is in ads.